Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting stuck into something fundamental, the power of setting and, crucially, achieving goals.
That's right.
We're looking at a document you pointed us towards called Why List Goals. And our mission really is to pull out the core insights for you.
Yeah, to figure out why just listing goals seems to work and maybe how to make that whole process, really effective in life.
Exactly. So let's dive in. The document kicks off pretty boldly, actually. It says, goals work. List your goals as goals work, and listing them sparks the subconscious.
Of your brain and body into action. Yeah, it sounds almost like magical, doesn't it?
It does, like a
Yeah.
simple mind trick. Well,
Yeah.
what's really going on there? Is it just psychological or is there something more?
Well, it's definitely got a strong psychological component. I mean, writing something down makes it concrete, right? Takes
Mhm.
it from just a floating idea to something tangible. It
Okay.
engages different parts of your brain. And the document backs this up straight away. It says it's a proven fact that a managed goals strategy, much better than just vague hopes.
So it's about actively directing your focus, not just wishing.
Precisely. And there's research behind it. Difficult, high-level goals, they consistently lead to better performance than, do your best kind of goals or no goals at all.
Right.
And what's interesting is how reliable this is. Goal setting as a technique, it just works consistently.
Okay, that makes sense. But then there's a warning, isn't there, about setting the wrong goals or maybe not understanding the how?
Yes, exactly. That's a critical point. You can have a great goal, like a big outcome you want. But if you don't understand the process,
You might fall flat.
you might fall flat or just get really frustrated. The document says we need to focus on how it works. Not just that it works, it's about understanding why people sometimes underperform even with goals.
So performance management is key. And figuring out the why behind underperformance.
Yeah. It's often because the focus is purely on the big finish line, not the steps to get there. You need those smaller, process-focused wins to keep momentum.
The document brings in sports here. Coaches setting really detailed goals.
Mhm. It's a great analogy. And then there's the story of John Neighbor, the swimmer.
Ah, yes. Tell us about him. Why is his story such a good example?
Well, Neighbor failed to make the U.S. Olympic team in 1972. Big setback.
Right.
But he didn't give up on the dream. He genuinely believed he could be an Olympic champion, even though it maybe looked unlikely then.
Okay, so belief was there. But
Yeah.
what did he do?
This is the key part. He didn't just try harder. Over the next 4 years, he set literally hundreds of specific short-term goals, really granular stuff.
Hundreds. That sounds intense.
It was. But they were calculated, precise schedules, exact times he needed to hit in practice, technique adjustments, tiny steps adding up.
And the result?
Pretty spectacular. 1976 Olympics, 4 gold medals. And every single one was in world record time.
Wow.
And Neighbor himself said, it wasn't just about swimming laps. It was the commitment, the hard work, the intense focus on those small, specific goals.
So it validates that idea of breaking down a huge ambition into manageable chunks?
Absolutely. It's a masterclass in micro goal setting and focusing on the process. And look what happened after swimming.
Right, the document mentions that too. Marketing, broadcasting.
Disney,
Yeah.
Speedo, motivational speaking, writer, even involved in organizing the '84 Olympics. It shows how that discipline, that goal-achieving skill set, it translates.
That's a powerful illustration. The process matters maybe more than just the outcome goal itself.
Which ties into the next point the document makes about the limits of just focusing on the outcome, like quitting smoking or tackling obesity.
Why are those good examples?
Because just saying, I want to quit smoking or I want to lose weight, that's the outcome. But it rarely works on its own, right?
Usually not, no.
Okay, you can open your eyes now.
Deeply ingrained. You need a process, specific strategies, support systems, daily actions. You have to tackle the how.
Makes sense. It's not just willpower, it's having a plan.
Exactly. And this applies in business too, which the document gets into.
What are the challenges there in a company setting?
Well, a big one is just getting everyone on the same page, understanding the goal and how the team plans to get there, especially when you have strong opinions or, different priorities.
Competing agendas?
Yeah, or just a lack of real commitment. People might nod along but aren't truly bought in. That can really sabotage things.
Like that orchestra analogy, everyone needs the same sheet music.
Good one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then for individuals, even outside of work,
What's key there?
it's more than just knowing the goal. It's about self-control, Self-regulation, managing your thoughts, feelings, actions, like hitting pause when you get distracted.
Right.
And self-reinforcement, giving yourself credit for the small wins, maybe little rewards, keeping yourself motivated through the process.
So that internal management piece is crucial. What about top performers? What do they do differently?
They tend to be, well, realistic about themselves, strengths, weaknesses. They track their progress systematically.
Objective.
Objectively, yeah.
That
Dispassionate critique, the
Yeah.
document calls it. They don't need constant pats on the back. They learn from setbacks, figure out what went wrong, and adjust.
Right.
They're resilient problem solvers.
Okay. And switching back to teams for a second, how do you make goal setting work well collaboratively?
It suggests starting with understanding everyone's strengths and weaknesses, like a team profile.
Oh, okay.
Then build detailed plans that actually use that mix of skills effectively. You need a system that supports hitting short-term goals and just a good collaborative vibe.
A shared mental model.
Yeah, that's the term used. Everyone understand the plan. And then, importantly, you monitor progress together and make adjustments as you go.
Right. Continuous improvement.
Hmm.
So the document wraps up with some essential requirements for goals to really stick. Let's touch on those. First one, clarity. Simple, easy to understand.
Absolutely fundamental. If it's fuzzy, how can anyone aim for it properly?
Then personal motivation beyond the end goal. You need to be driven by the process itself. Somewhat.
Yes. That intrinsic drive, that's the fuel for when things get tough, and they always do at some point.
Focus, tenacity, commitment, those are vital. And getting buy-in from others, that takes effort. Addressing the unspoken stuff.
Definitely. Hidden resistance can really pull things down without you even realizing it.
It also mentions that big successes are built on small wins, incremental progress.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Small achievements build confidence and momentum.
And learning from others, competitors, experts.
Makes sense. Don't reinvent the wheel if someone's already figured out a path. Talk to people who've done it.
Surround yourself with good, supportive people too. Aim high, work with the best, create that supportive environment.
That ecosystem for success, yeah. Who you associate with matters.
And finally, schedule, monitor, track progress. Be ready to regroup if you're off track. It all comes down to effort, really. And getting good at this, like expert-level goal achievement, that takes serious practice, deliberate quality practice.
It does. It's a skill you build. Goal setting isn't passive. It's active, ongoing work.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the big takeaway from digging into why list goals seems to be, it's not just writing stuff down. That's the spark, maybe,
Right, the catalyst.
but the real power comes when you combine that spark with a deep focus on the process, with genuine commitment, consistent effort, and always learning, always adjusting.
And the John Neighbor story really drives that home. His incredible success wasn't just talent. It was that meticulous, process-driven approach over years.
Absolutely, a fantastic example.
Yeah.
So for you listening, here's something to chew on. Think about an area right now where maybe your goals are a bit vague, just aspirations floating around. What if you actually sat down, defined a clear, maybe ambitious goal, but more importantly, what if you started mapping out the actual steps, the processes, the short-term actions needed to get there?
What might you discover?
Exactly. What might you learn about what it really takes, and maybe about your own potential for commitment, your own capabilities, when you focus on the how, not just the what? Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.